All right, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. Today it's a 1 vs 1 on Road to Kharkov. Doing our yellow, rather a blue. Threw me off there. Look how bad that juked me. Yellow units, blue buildings. So he's technically the blue Russian player, HelpingBrits. And up top, our red OKW player, Momo4sho. And it is Road to Kharkov. Very, very skinny map. The victory points going down like so. A munitions point and a fuel point. Very easy to capture for your respective sides. A munitions point and a fuel point. And everybody talking about the mystery player HelpingBrits, which everybody believes to be Paul, which I think is really, really funny. And Star Pioneers going out to the very first munitions point right off the bat. And Engineers going to their first munitions point. So both players going to the munitions points as fast as they can, then back capping with some conscripts there, and then moving some Volksgrenadiers here to back cap the fuel point. So 2 Volksgrenadiers for our OKW player, 2 conscripts, and a combat engineer squad. And conscripts now taking the fuel point, and the munitions point has been already captured there, and very weird, as they are pretty much doing almost the exact same strategy here, capturing the munitions point and the fuel point first, which it kind of makes sense to capture the fuel point and the munitions point first, but very odd how it was so similar. Storm Pioneers here, right next to the conscripts here, could just stand right in front of the building and blast away inside there and actually probably take out some of those conscripts. If they go around to the front end, they would probably be better off. There's quite a bit of windows in this building. There are 3 on this side, so if you actually stand here, you get fired at by 3 of the conscripts. And back here, there are 3 windows as well, but you could probably get away with standing on the corner and only get shot at by 1 or 2 of them. Volksgrenadiers here are going to get inside the building and fire away at the Engineers. Engineers look like they're going to get inside the building and slow them down for some weird reason. And now they're going to be angry neighbors and shoot at each other. And conscripts here making some sandbags in front of the victory point. Make that a little bit easier to take. Conscripts here are going to be firing away outside of the building at these Volksgrenadiers. And again, there are 3 windows on, I think, every side of this building. So, which is actually quite a bit. Some buildings only have 2, some only have 1 facing certain directions, so sort of lowers your DPS in that sense. Engineers let the conscripts do all the heavy work there, and now the engineer is going to move off, do something else. Both grenadiers are behind sandbags. However, some of them are not quite hidden very well, and one guy is sort of just out in the open. He doesn't know what's going on. Nobody ever told him to hide behind cover properly, but that's okay. There's always one guy like that in every platoon, isn't there? Now conscripts here firing away at the Storm Pioneers. Had to switch up in those windows a little bit. Now the conscripts low on health, half health on that whole squad. They're only missing 1 man, and those Storm Pioneers have to run away. Way too many conscripts coming there. And now a flamethrower in the building here, blasting away at the Volksgrenadiers. Oh, they just got to back up there and fire from a long distance, and decide to take the victory point instead. Now the flame reaches all the way across there, which is actually pretty far there. 2 men left in that Volksgrenadier squad. Conscripts pushing forward, pushing the OKWs back as far as they can. And gonna hide inside this building, gonna get some sight there. Probably won't stay in there for long, I'd imagine, as it seems a very goofy place to stand for very long. And Engineers here gonna be taking the left side territory point. 2 victory points so far for the OKW, however, one of them is just now neutralized, speak of the devil, and will belong to the Russians very soon. 495 for the Russians, 481 for the OKW, so technically OKW losing slightly, but not too big of a deal very early in the game just yet. Conscripts taking the fuel point, didn't bother with the munitions point. Munitions points take forever, along with fuel points to capture. And we have some Volksgrenadiers all the way up here taking the territory point, and taking the cutoff territory point. And just neutralized it, which is good enough, really. And now going to have to take that back here with these Engineers. And built another Engineer squad here to actually build the support weapons And 4 conscripts for the Russian player, 2 engineers that 1 engineer made specifically to make that support company. And still only 3 Volksgrenadiers for the OKW, so very odd indeed that he's making so little. Perhaps just waiting for something good to come along. And now with the Stern Pioneers and the Volksgrenadiers there goes an incendiary grenade inside this building, taking down those conscripts very quickly. They run away. And good thing with the damage of the Stern Pioneers that close and the incendiary grenade, they would have died very, very quickly. And now some Jaeger light infantry spawn magically from inside the building. Always loved that. And now conscripts running on home, and they certainly have a long way to run. Now conscripts pushing forward at the Volksgrenadiers, but the Volksgrenadiers, however, have those sandbags. They have a superior fighting position right now. But doesn't really help out too much against that flamethrower, so just gonna have to bail. And they're gonna run right past this engineer inside this building more than likely. And so they actually might take some damage, maybe even lose a man or 2. 1 man lost, and perhaps another one, but doesn't look like it's gonna happen. I'm gonna save those 2. And now the OKW are going to be taking back another victory point here. Going to put a shoe mine down on the ground. Some unsuspecting poor bastard to run over that. And Volksgrenadiers get inside the building. Perhaps use the building to just move forward, or going to hop the fence. One of the 2. And get inside the building. So conscripts and Volksgrenadiers going at it once again. Now starting to pump out some units here with that Jaeger light infantry added to those 3 Volksgrenadiers for the OKW. Now has a Raketenwerfer out on the map as well, bringing that on in. And now we have an MG on the map for the Russians, firing away at these Stern Pioneers there. And they got a bail for now. 2 flamethrowers blasting away on them. Oh, and that shoe mine devastates that squad. Good old shoe mines. And lately, since the OKW has received 100% munitions and fuel income, instead of just 66 as it was before, you can actually use a lot more shoe mines, which I really find nice. And especially since he has 3 Grim Reaper tool, so his Volksgrenadier combat packages, or rather just the Panzerschrecks, because nobody really freezes anymore on these maps, is 15% less, so he can certainly just spend a little bit more munitions. And so you can put down more shoe mines now as the OKW, which I really, really like. Because I find shoe mines really, really effective. They're just so easy to use. You always have a Stern Pioneer out and just plop them all over the place. And conscripts here trying to chase down these Volksgrenadiers. Doing a good job of juking them. I'm going to get inside the house here, fight against the conscripts. Conscripts, however, are going to use the sandbags against the OKW. 2 victory points for the Russians at the moment. Stern Pioneers moving across the map. That's that mine detector, so one of them will not be firing. It looks like he put the mine detector away. And that's like one of the first times I've ever seen somebody put the mine detector away in a battle like that. I congratulate Momo for actually putting that mine detector away. I thought I was like the only person that actually puts the mine detector away. Now the Volksgrenadiers inside the building, gonna have a little bit of trouble against 2 squads, but holding out okay so far. And engineers here got to run past all those Stern Pioneers and may lose another man here. Looks like fine. And conscripts here got to run away, and all those infiltration grenades miss. And that building was completely collapsed. Looks like a demolition charge went off there. That was very strange indeed. Put a big old crater and took down the whole entire house. And Raketenwerfer set up no armor out on the map, though. So nothing to really use it on just yet. Conscripts moving across and going to take the victory point here on the left side. Center victory point belongs to the OKW, but really the only thing guarding it here is this Raketenwerfer, and that's really not going to do too much. Engineers now moving up, and the conscripts as well. And camouflaged it, but I think is going to get too close. and we'll probably be able to spot this. I'm surprised you can't spot that. It is in the middle of nowhere. How can you not see that? And now the conscripts trying to take this territory point. Going to get inside the house to battle them. And meanwhile, these are taking the victory point. Volksgrenadiers about to be hit from all angles here. Engineers now moving over to the stone wall. Going to get some cover behind that green cover and flaming them out of there. And forces the retreat on those Volksgrenadiers. Now 2 Maxims for the Russians. Another Maxim being brought up now. 2 of them right next to each other. I'd figure one would be brought over to the left side and one on the right, but either way, what are you going to do about it, you know? And conscripts moving across the way, going over to the right side here, possibly taking this victory point here, and going to try and take the munitions point at the same time, perhaps. And looks like just now a vehicle is coming out for the Rakettenwerfer to be used upon another Schwer Wehrmacht Schlepper. And we have a booby-trapped point here from the OKW.
Ready for action. Grenadiers ready.
Volksgrenadiers moving around the side here, but they're going to run into an MG in their face. Should they come around the corner, each way they come around, they're going to get hit. And going to come right into the face of an MG. Going to suppress them instantly and get hit by the flamethrower. Tries to throw in infiltration grenades. Oh, and gets that MG really well. Actually threw the MG, the infiltration grenades right in front of it. Very, very weird how that actually worked out. If the MG would have actually stayed in the building, it would have been better off. Very strange indeed. Maxim set up there at the victory point to stop that. Another Jaeger-led infantry squad has been spawned out of the building there. And we have an M5 half-track out on the field. No quad mount upgrading just yet. And Stern Pioneers are coming around the corner. However, going to run right into the flamethrower of the engineers. Both sides in negative cover, though. Now the quad cannon being upgraded. Over here comes that Rakettenwerfer, and gotta watch out for that. Gonna take a hit to the rear armor. And there he goes, takes a rear hit. Does half damage on the half track and needs to bail out of there as soon as possible. Engineers trying to take the center victory point, will take it, but we'll have to retreat immediately. And there they go now. And now to the MG here. And where is the other MG? Still chilling at base there, trying to heal up and reinforce. Meanwhile, we have an engineer running on home. Here come the infiltration grenades. All 5 of them go off on the MG there. We'll probably lose this MG. Has a sliver of health. Won't be able to make it out. And there he goes. However, he does have that M5 in a quad cannon now. And fired into the house. And the Volksgrenadiers, unfortunately, they have no Panzerschreck. Otherwise, they could probably take out that quad cannon. But it probably wouldn't be there anyway if they did have a Panzerschreck. Conscripts behind the stone wall, firing away. Perpendicular to their cover there, so blasting away.
Grenadiers ready. Grenadiers ready. Contact!
And 1 conscript. Where is the rest of the squad? All the way back here. That's strange. I wonder what happened there. These guys didn't get the memo, apparently. And Volksgrenadiers here got to run away. Very low on health. And we have 1 victory point. 2 victory points, rather, for the Russians. 470 to 327 for the OKW. OKW right now has an infantry support gun out. Rakettenwerfer 3 Volksgrenadiers and the 2 Jaeger-led infantry. We've got 4 conscripts here. A couple engineers with the good old flamethrowers. Another MG on the way here. And we have an 82mm mortar squad as well. And where is that mortar? Hanging out all the way back there. And now the infantry support gun. I'm going to give a hard time here. Firing away at these conscripts. Nope, firing actually at the building here. And looks like the building is going to collapse any moment. Mortar's going to be setting up here. Conscript's going to get inside the building. and try and stall out these Volksgrenadiers. Volksgrenadiers are a little too close for this mortar. And I'm expecting an incendiary grenade coming. No, it's going to be infiltration grenades.
Grenadiers ready.
Conscript's going to be holding out for a little while here. Going to take this center victory point. The other victory point here on the far left has been neutralized. Engineers got to run around the far away. Infiltration grenades going in the building way, way too late. Not sure what that was all about. That was very, very late. But the infiltration grenades are very cheap. They're only 15 to basically throw 5 grenades. Whereas it costs 30 to actually throw the incendiary grenade, so it's typically much better just to throw infiltration grenades. Engineer spots that Raketenwerfer, but has to bail out of there a little too soon. The Jaeger Light Infantry firing away on him. A 3-star engineer, don't really want to lose that. And down to 1 man here, and very low. And nearly going to lose this infantry squad. Looks like he will make it out of there. And now 2 mortars out on the field. And firing away at the Raketenwerfer and the Volksgrenadiers here. Whichever comes first, I suppose. OKW now holding 2 victory points. And lands all over the sandbags there, destroys those. And landing directly on that Raketenwerfer. ISG trying to fire back, hits the building here. 1 or 2 more hits on that building, and it's going to fall. Maybe 2 more. Ooh, or maybe even more than that. Maybe underestimating a little bit. Either way, that building is not doing too good. Either is this one here. A small sliver. Hell, the MG might even take that out.
Volksgrenadiers back to full strength. Send your orders.
Volksgrenadiers here around the corner, trying to be slick, trying to hide, but not doing too good of a job. These guys gave it away.
105mm artillery barrages are
And now taking the left side victory point here, making some sandbags. And there is that pesky quad cannon, forcing those troops out of there. And here comes the Raketenwerfer, down to 1 man in that conscript squad. And he was busy building sandbags and getting shot at. And there he goes, runs on home and will survive. But certainly learned his lesson. Here comes some infiltration grenades all over the place. Multiple infiltration grenades. 10 of them. Nearly 10 of them. Missed all of those engineers, though, unfortunately. And Raketenwerfer being brought up here. Going to hit the frontal armor here if he's not careful. And he's going to back out in time by the looks of it. Going to retreat. That engineer there was very, very low. Almost lost it. And 2 Raketenwerfers now on the field for the OKW. Chasing after that quad cannon.
Send orders. Ready for deployment. Flanking attack. Fire now.
MG in a little bit of trouble. He's got to bail out of there. Stern Pioneers firing away. Volksgrenadiers are suppressed, but won't be suppressed much longer. And this Maxim will probably end up having to just retreat. There he goes. Retreating now. Was in a little bit of trouble there. And now the Raketenwerfer's actually in trouble themselves. Should retreat these and heal these up. They are very, very beat up. This one is about ready to be decrewed. Conscripts pushing forward once again, taking the victory point. Meanwhile, on the right side, the conscripts blasting away at the Volksgrenadiers. Both of them good cover behind the sandbags there, but point blank and somehow cannot shoot each other. Conscripts trying to take this territory point, but unfortunately they do not have very good cover. And the OKW does. Well, actually, he was in negative cover technically. But perhaps they just didn't have the numbers. And now the conscript in trouble, gonna get shot up by those Gewehr 43s. Quad cannon here just going to go point blank at these Jaeger Light Infantry. They're going to have to retreat immediately. They did neutralize that zone, though, so now these conscripts going to have to stand around and take that back. Volksgrenadiers Inside the building there, they hit the quad cannon with a Panzerschreck. And now going to overdrive that engine and bail. Engineers here with the flamethrower going to get a flame or two off on these Jaeger-Light infantry, but probably might end up having to retreat. No, pin down the Jaeger-Light infantry now from that Maxim. I don't even think the Maxim was hitting them. It's at a very weird angle. I don't even think it hit anything like that angle. But somehow it can still suppress.
Ready for action.
MG trying to fire at these Volksgrenadiers. Most of the bullets just hitting that stone wall. You'd think they would compensate by now, but no, he's just going to keep blasting away at the same spot. And now we have a Panther out on the field here and moving towards the Russians now. And so this might be bad news for our Russians, as there isn't too much that can really deal with this. Nothing at all, in fact, on the map that can really deal with this. Perhaps he might have anti-tank grenades. He does not. MG forced to run away. And here come the conscripts now. And I wonder if he's going to be upgrading that anti-tank grenade. He is, but that is not going to be enough to take out a Panther. You'd have to throw a good dozen of them to destroy a Panther. Two mortars going strong here. One of them has to run away, so the other one's blasting away. Panther looks like he chased away that other machine gun up there. And now taking all of these victory points. And two conscripts here fighting at the Volksgrenadiers. Conscripts here standing in the middle of the road. And it doesn't look like there's anything on the map here, even still, for our Russian player to deal with that Panther. He does have the anti-tank grenades now, but again, it's going to take a solid dozen of them to take out a Panther. And by then, he'll easily be able to get it out of the way. At best, they will only damage its engine. However, he can play the age-old game of keep away and just pretty much avoid the Panther, which is always an option. And now the engineers taking the left side victory point. Meanwhile, conscripts have successfully taken the center victory point. 424 for the Russians, 237 for the OKW. And now the quad cannon might be in a little bit of trouble if this Panther decides to move forward at all. Conscripts still haven't launched, thrown rather, an anti-tank grenade. Conscript's very, very low on health. Need to get out of there. We have an IS-2 now out on the field. And I didn't even notice that he had that in his commander there. So now bringing out that IS-2 and going after that Panther, hitting that Panther right in the back armor. The back armor is faced that IS-2. That is not the recommended way. Now the IS-2's armor is faced towards the back. And going to try and get this IS-2 out of here, but he's going to take a lot of damage on the way. He's going to take another Panzerschreck or two. And now trying to get out of there as fast as possible. This Panther here down to half health. The IS-2 at half health. And that was definitely not a good move on either part. The Panther was faced at the rear toward that IS-2, and then the IS-2 moved a little bit too far forward. And sort of lucked out at the Rakettenwerfer was not faced towards that IS-2. Otherwise, he would have taken even more damage than that. Now an Ostwind out on the map here for the OKW. Ostwind now going after these troops here, forces the retreat there. And the Panther is still going, and I'm not sure if he's going to be backing up and trying to repair or not. He does not have any Stern Pioneers out on the field, so he cannot repair. He doesn't have a mechanized regiment headquarters either, so he cannot use that to repair. So he will have to get Stern Pioneers going soon. Quad cannon stopping the Volksgrenadiers from getting down into the center there. And now in a little bit of trouble since he cannot repair that Panther. It's nearly useless with that engine so damaged. You can't really afford to bring that Panther into battle with a damaged engine like that. However, the IS-2 now coming forward and going after the Panther now. And there's a lot there to damage this IS-2, though. The Panzerschreck and the Raketenwerfer all going to be firing away on it. It's going to be backing up. But unfortunately, the Panther even more damaged now and has to just sit in base. Panzerschreck misses. A very critical miss indeed. Now one sliver of health left on that quad cannon, but backs it out. Nearly a 3-star veteran. Now the MG in the building here at a very, very nice spot, hitting all of these troops right at the line there, pinning all of these down. IS-2 now pushing forward, trying to go after the Ostwind. And there is a Schwerer Panzer headquarters there. Got to watch out for that, but won't do too much to the frontal armor of the IS-2. Will penetrate every once in a while. Sort of a random chance to do so, as its penetration is not up to par with the IS-2's armor, so it's probably a 25% chance, if that, to penetrate, maybe a 10%. Ostwind and the Panther, both of them damaged. Now a Stern Pioneer coming out on the field, but it might be a little bit too late. No mechanized regiment headquarters to repair either. That would certainly be helpful right about now. But he does not have the funds to do that. IS-2 took quite a bit of damage there. It looks like it took 1 or 2 Panzerschrecks. Now down to about half health. Needs to get repaired. Looks like these 2 engineers are on that job right now. Quad cannon pushing forward to stop the Volksgrenadiers from getting to the mortars and or the IS-2. And the Ostwind, meanwhile, taking care of the conscripts over here. However, a 3-star and a 2-star conscript holding out pretty well. We have a Stern Pioneer now out on the field. They need to get repairing as fast as possible on that Panther. Engineers getting all juked up by the quad cannon there. And gonna get tossed around again by the looks of it. And this quad cannon being very annoying for those engineers. Now we're pairing up the Panther here, but it's going to take quite a while. And meanwhile, the Russians have all 3 victory points. I don't think it's going to be ready in time. And the IS-2 and the Panther are definitely on par with each other. The IS-2 is technically supposed to be on par with a Tiger tank, but that's not really the case.
100 points remain. He organized the assault.
Russians have stole themselves a Raketenwerfer. Not sure when they actually got that. So now the IS-2 going to try and lure that Panther into the Raketenwerfer's range. So not only will it get struck by that IS-2, we'll get hit by this Raketenwerfer as well. And there we go, now setting up. And the Raketenwerfer's going to hit the frontal armor there, but it looks like it plinked off and didn't do anything. Which is usually the case with the Raketenwerfer anyway. But it is what it is. And now going to try and back that out of there. 2 Volksgrenadiers moving forward a little bit too close. MG going to try and take care of the Volksgrenadiers. Meanwhile, the Raketenwerfer going to try and hit that Panther, but a little bit too slow. Takes a little bit too long to set up there. And now the Panther has to back out. The battle group headquarters heavily damaged. These mortars have been working on it for a while. One of the mortars lost. And the OKW has to GG out. And leaves it 46 points left over. Didn't really have too much left. This Panther here would have been in better shape if that Stern Pioneer was out a little bit earlier or had a mechanized regiment headquarters to repair that up. And a fairly even game towards till the mid/end of the game there. The IS-2 came out, pretty much sealed the deal for that Panther. But I hope you guys enjoyed the replay, and I'll see you guys next time.